Hello there, my name is Typhoon Win, and I will be showing you in this video how to run to Oola's lab, as well as running through Oola's lab as a solo assassin elementalist. Now, let's get started. Firstly, I'll go over my skills and attributes. As you can see down here, I am using a Shadow Form build with Ebon Vanguard Assassin Support, Dark Escape, and Dwarven Stability. Now, my attribute spread is fairly simple. Max out Shadow Arts with a superior Shadow Arts rune and a Shadow Arts mask to obtain the maximum Shadow Arts necessary to maintain Shadow Form with Glyph of Swiftness. I am also carrying 12 air magic because I have nothing else useful to invest in it. Here you can see I am also bringing a party of heroes along with me. Those will come in useful later, but I'll not cover that just yet. The equipment is, as I mentioned, a mask, a Shadow Arts mask, and a superior Shadow Arts rune. Everything else should increase your armor and your health. For the equipment, I have a Spear of Enchanting. Make sure it's a one-handed weapon of enchanting. I've also given it a +5 energy inscription. I had the power. And for the shield, I have a reinforced defender of devotion. This gives me extra health while enchanted, as well as the inscription Leaf on the Wind, which will provide us with 10 armor versus cold damage. Now, since we have a few PvE titled skills, I want to quickly go over this. My Dwarven Stability, because my Dwarven rank is actually fairly low, it is rank 2, it doesn't last very long. Dwarven Stability lasts 26 seconds and stance lasts 73% longer. Now with max Dwarven rank, it'll last for longer and the stances will last for twice as long as they would normally do. Because of this, I myself can't maintain Dark Escape. But with maximum Dwarven rank, you will be able to. So I'd recommend you increase your Dwarven PvE title if you're having trouble with this. Next up, we're going to cover the enemies that we're going to expect. Oola's lab is filled with golems, beetles, and skelk, which appear on level 2. Now, the golems, they're mostly melee types. They are dervishes, and they also have a few elementalists within their ranks. Both of them can knock you down. In fact, I think all of them can knock you down. The elementalists have skills like shock, while all golems have a monster skill which provides knockdown on their next attack. Now, this is why skills like I Am Unstoppable and Dwarven Stability are to be used, because they prevent knockdown. The beetles, however, they can't actually induce knockdown, but they do summon spirits of disenchantment, which, if you don't look out for, can ruin your run. If you don't know, disenchantment can remove shadow form if it hits you, and that would leave you pretty much defenseless. Anything in this dungeon can kill you, so my advice would be to stay in front of the aggro at all times. Now for the Skelk. On level 2, I believe there are 2 groups of Skelk. One of them you have to run past and the other one is optional. The Skelk and Golems are hostile, so if you lure them into each other, they will fight each other. But the Skelk, they can also inflict knockdown, so be wary of that. Also, there will be natural spirit spawns on level 1, which include spirits of disenchantment, so watch out for those. Finally, before we start the run, we have personal consumables. Here I have a summoning stone, which is useful on level 1 for fighting Xien, I believe is how you pronounce it, the assassin that tries to ruin your day throughout level 1. Pumpkin cookies, which will provide a morale boost. Candy corn, candy apples, and of course alcohol to fuel dwarven stability. Now, in order to... the quest for Oola's lab, you obtain from this Asura over here called Blim. Now, the quest is Workshop of Horrors, and you
aren't
do
from
need
around
this.
here.
And you do need this quest in order to progress past level 1. Otherwise, Xien won't spawn and will not drop the dungeon key afterwards. Now, this run is doable in hard mode as well. So, yeah, let's head through the portal and begin our run. Just a word of warning, I am not very much used to running while commentating at the same time, so I may be a bit distracted. What you want to do is, if you have heroes, flag them by the portal. If you have players, just let them do whatever they want except go through the portal. I'll bring up my mini-map to show you the path that I take to run to Oola's lab, and we'll go from here. Now, the first obstacle you're going to encounter will be these Wind Riders. They're mesmers, and they can interrupt you no matter how fast you cast your skills. So what you want to do is you want to cast Shout of Distress, Glyph of Swiftness, Shadow Form, and Dwarven Stability. Dwarven Stability will increase the length of your stances, which will in effect allow you to run faster throughout the entire run. Now, these Krait, you want to stay well ahead of these guys, because they can interrupt you with skills like Savage Slash and, I believe, Disrupting Strike. So you don't want them to interrupt your Shadow Form, especially not with Wind Riders still after you. One of the main things you want to focus on throughout this entire run, even while inside Oola's lab, is to stay in front of the aggro, because anything can kill you, as I have probably mentioned earlier. Once you reach this Resurrection Shrine, recast all of your enchantments and your stances. We're going to be running through a boss, which I can't actually pronounce the name of. Veterni Mindswar. Now, this group is fairly harmless, provided you have Shadow Form constantly up, because all they can do is wand you. Now, we are already more than halfway towards the dungeon. The next group that you need to worry about are these Hylek. Now, they have a monster skill which can knock you down, so make sure you keep an eye on what they're doing. If you can, stay ahead of their aggro, and when you think they're going to knock you down, you use I Am Unstoppable. As you see, I have just been interrupted there on Shadow Form by I don't know why I was interrupted. However, you may still be able to make it to Oola's lab. This group behind me is a group of Krait, and if you run without Shadow Form on, you may want to avoid them. Otherwise, again, they're fairly harmless. Now, this run takes 2-3 minutes. Here we have entered Oola's lab. Now, there is a trick you can do with the heroes in case you die. Now, I have got Unyielding Aura heroes on in here. As you can see, I have a Ritualist and a Monk. The party really doesn't matter too much. Just so long as they can fight their way through level 3, it's okay. Right, so you want to grab the bounty from this shrine, which is not necessary, and you want to use all of your personal consumables, one of each. If you have an Essence of Celerity, great, but you probably just wasted it, because I don't think it's entirely worth it on this run. So you want to use your alcohol before you use Dwarven Stability, because as I mentioned, these enemies can knock you down with their monster skill. When you see Shadow Form close to running out, like a quarter of the way towards running out, you want to cast Glyph of Swiftness, Shadow Form, and depending on how close the enemies are to you, you'll want to use Heart of Shadow to avoid them. try to maintain Dark Escape as much as you can, because that actually provides you with, it actually grants you half damage reduction. As you can see, I just got body blocked there, which is also something you might want to watch out for. Now as you run around here, you can see Shroud of Distress will begin to run out. If you can, try and lose aggro before you reach this Resurrection Shrine here on the map, and recast everything. Make sure you do not perish though, that's kind of important. Now here we're going to come up to the natural spirit spawns. I see a Spirit of Pain and a Spirit of Disenchantment. The first spirit will be, we've already passed the first spirit, but this one here you may want to watch for. Now just to let you know, these spirits aren't always the same, but what you want to do if you encounter a Spirit of Disenchantment is you want to strafe left and right like I have been doing. Now here is round about where I'd normally die, what with all the mobs and everything. As I say, if you stay ahead of the aggro, you don't need to worry about death too much, but it is a problem. I'm still running, remembering to maintain everything. I still have my alcohol remaining, as indicated by this skill here, which is why I love using the bottle of grog. And you want to maintain Dwarven stability. Right here we're going to find the next group of enemies that we're probably going to have trouble with. Spiders. Now the spiders are a problem because they can cripple you with pinning shot. You'll want to use I Am Unstoppable while running through them. Here we come across a battle between golems and beetles. So you'll want to try and avoid the beetles. Whoops! Didn't mean to do that. You'll want to avoid the beetles' Spirit of Disenchantment, because they can disenchant you. Now I had to reuse my alcohol because I was running low, and it probably just saved me as well. As you can see, I have just been hit by disenchantment, but that isn't too much of a worry. Normally you can pull golems to fight to distract the spirits and the beetles for you. Down here is near the end of the dungeon, but you will encounter more spiders, as well as Xien again. Or Xien. So this appears to be a very good run so far. We haven't died, which is so much I can say for this level, because I normally do die here. Now as you run through here, you want to make sure you have an anti-knockdown skill active, and you want to recast Shadow Form. Now I've just been crippled, and around here you'll want to try and lose all of the golem aggro. Sometimes they will glitch and continuously follow you, or they'll get stuck on this wall. If that happens, just run all the way around here to try and lose their aggro. Once you have lost all the aggro, you'll want to head to here, put up your enchantments, and this is where it gets tricky. When this group runs towards you, you'll want to target Xien and wait until they run that way. Use your longbow of enchanting or flatbow of enchanting and pull Xien. It's important to have Shadow Form up during this part, because he can and will hex you. Alright, what you want to do now is you want to basically tank him and use your Ebon Vanguard Assassin support. Now the heroes come in very useful if you bought them, because there's this little trick that you can do. You flag them through the portal on the mini-map, they all teleport towards you. Of course, if you're doing this with other players who aren't running with you, it's a bit of a different story. Then you'll want to use a Summoning Stone to help you defeat Xien. as long as it's not a mercantile summoning stone, because those aren't very good. So when Xien gets to about under a quarter life, he'll drop a dungeon key, which you can use to unlock the next level. I've been on this map for 6 minutes, which is a fairly average run. So now we have entered level 2. If you have heroes, remember to flag them near the start. Unfortunately, the portal teleportation trick will not work on this level, which is sad, but still doable without it. What you'll want to do is you'll want to reuse your consumables. I have candy corn and candy apple. And maintain your enchantments here. Now for this part you don't really need to use any alcohol. You can easily get past with I am unstoppable. Remember to stay ahead of all the aggro as you run past these golems, and around this corner you'll encounter some beetles. Normally they'll also be in a battle with more golems, so you can simply run past them, but if not, running past them also works. As you can see, we still have some people following us, which is kind of annoying. So here to your left you'll encounter a lot of flame traps as well as a malfunctioning shield golem. You're going to want to ignore him and run down here to where the area map is. If you want to, you can use the area map, but there is little point if you already know your way. Right here you'll want to recast your enchantments, and I also normally use some alcohol here as well, because the next group can knock you down. Next group is also notorious for body blocking you, so be wary of that. If you want to prevent body blocking, use Heart of Shadow on the Beacon of Droknar here. Fortunately it doesn't look like I've been body blocked. I used I am unstoppable for the extra armor and so that I don't die. Now here is another trick. This wall here, yep, you can shadow step through it. Oh no, you can't believe me. If you shadow step through it, you don't have to run around it, which is useful for not aggroing more groups. But if not, the Skelk will distract the nearby golems anyway. Now we're about halfway through the second level already. As you can tell, it's not a very long run. Right here will be an annoying group of golems, and you'll just want to run past them. If you run over here... oh, hello. If you run over here, you will lose most of the aggro. However, one or two golems will still be following you, as you can see there on the compass. The things to watch out for here are the flame traps and the forge imps, because they're spirit spammers. They don't have signet of spirits, which is helpful, but they are still a pain. Over there is the boss that you want to kill for this level, and in order to do that, maintain all your enchantments and run to pick up the Flux Matrix. You may want knockdown prevention as well, because these things still can knock you down. But if you pick up the Flux Matrix and just run away, then they shouldn't follow you all the way around. Now here, I normally let Shadow Form drop, so that you can do a decent amount of damage with this. I'm sorry, I'm a bit distracted at the moment, trying not to die. Make sure you don't actually step into the flame trap, and just use the Flux Matrix to kill the Forge Imps and any nearby spirits. Any spirits along this end don't really matter that much. What you'll want to do now is recharge your Flux Matrix. As you can see, a lone golem has been caught on the flame trap. No problem. what you'll want to do now is just run up to him and drop the Flux Matrix. Do this with anything else that has also been stuck. Make sure Shadow Form is down, because Shadow Form will limit your damage from 1337 down to 28 at 16 Shadow Mastery. Now remember to pay attention to your enchantments, especially Shroud of Distress. For here, what you want to do is you want to pull the Malfunctioning Golem. Oh no. Okay. What you want to do is you want to pull this Malfunctioning Golem towards the unstable magical energy. And in order to do that, maintain Shadow Form while you do it, but let it run out as you get close. Now he will normally lose aggro, and he will also normally get stuck on some of these flame jets. So you'll want to run around the flame jets and run backwards with your speed boost, maintaining either I am unstoppable or drunken power dwarven stability to prevent knockdown. Now Shroud of Distress and Dark Escape will help you in tanking this guy. If you're having problems, just run away and he'll lose aggro pretty easily. Now I don't normally do this bad, but since I am recording as well, it's a bit more difficult. So here you see the Golem boss had died. It normally takes 3 drops to kill them. What I normally do now is I go around this end and kill these enemies here with Flux Matrix, because I have a grudge against them. But also around here, the dungeon key spawns. The boss doesn't actually drop the dungeon key, but it instead spawns over here when you kill him. There are 3 golems left. And what you want to do is you want to run up to him and make sure they're all fairly close to you, so that you can drop it and kill them all at once. Now, as I say, this part is actually optional to kill them. You can just grab the dungeon key with your enchantments up and Shadow Form and just run away. Now the rest of this dungeon is fairly easy, because right now all you need to do is you need to run all the way over to here, if you can see on the U map where my cursor is pointing, and unlock the door. Remember, as you run past these golems, you may want to drink some more alcohol to fuel dwarven stability. Otherwise you can just try and avoid aggro and use I am unstoppable to prevent knockdown. Remember to stay ahead of all the aggro as well. Fairly important concept in this run. Even with Shadow Form and all your enchantments up, you can still die. You're not invincible, I'll tell you that. Now this group right here, they do patrol very close to the dungeon lock. So if you're fast enough, you'll encounter this group right about here. But they're still fairly easy to run past. So with the dungeon key, you activate the dungeon lock, run through here, and here you have the portal to the next level. This has taken me 8 minutes to complete, which is a bit over the usual time. Now on the final level, I don't think you can run essentially through this level, not with the party anyway. So if you bring heroes, make sure they can fight, and just do battle with these malfunctioning golems. That's it, really. If you have other players, tell them to bring something they can fight with so they can kill these golems. As you can see, even on hard mode, they're all fairly easy, mainly because they have pretty much all the same skills. If your party is having trouble dealing with these, however, you may want to group all these golems up by luring them to a wall and body blocking them to prevent them from gaining access to your party and demolishing them. This level normally takes about 3-4 minutes. And yeah. Also, just because you can, try not to be a noob and just stand there. Just like go up and attack. As you can see, I'm still dealing 0 damage, but it's better than nothing. Occasional 1s and 4s pop up. And I'd say we're already halfway through this level. This has been a pretty successful run so far. I'll talk a little bit about what you can get from this chest. From the end chest of Oola's lab, there are several unique scythe skins that you can obtain. You can obtain the Steelhead Scythe, which is arguably my favourite scythe skin in the game. The Clockwork Scythe, which I am actually currently after. And Storm Daggers as well. I've only gotten the Steelhead Scythe, Storm Daggers, once. I have never gotten the Clockwork Scythe. And what else do you get from this chest? You also get a Crystal Flame Staff, which I have gotten multiple times. You also get a Signet Shield, which is, I'd say, is an unremarkable shield, but some people like it. I wouldn't say it's particularly valuable or anything. I'd say the most valuable item you get from here would probably be either the Steelhead or the Clockwork Scythe. Also, on a side note, you can get the Redline Ashura Staff from the end boss, the TPS Regulator Golem. Here we are approaching the final boss. What you want to do is firstly try and take care of this group if you can. Sometimes this group won't actually aggro you, so sometimes you can just ignore this group. And there we go. If you have heroes, you'll want to flag your heroes near the bottom of these stairs. What you'll also want to do is you'll want to pull up your enchantments and go in and pull the TPS Regulator Golem. There are also other foes, which are the Flame Guardians. If you're running with a group of people, you may want to kill the Flame Guardians as well. However, if not, you can just pull the TPS Regulator Golem, tank him. I said tank him, and just watch him die. He does have a really cruel technique though, that when he's about to die, as you can see my dervish hero there, Typhoon Wind, just died. That's because of the monster skill he has, which I am not entirely sure of the effect, but if you're close to him, you'll expect to take a lot of damage. I didn't get the Redline Ashura Staff from this run, but the Oola's chest has spawned. Again, if you're running with blades, you may want to go and kill the Flame Guardians. If not, you'd go here and collect your rewards. No Clockwork or Steelhead Scythe or Storm Daggers either, but it's a fairly successful run. As you can see, I have been on this map for 4 minutes. Once you're done, resign or zone out to the outpost, and remember to collect your reward from Blim as well. Also of note, if you do get the Redline Ashura Flame Staff and you want to keep it, you'll want to put it in your Zunlai bank account.
Can you be helped?
Before speaking to him. Otherwise he will take it from you, which is kind of a shame because it has a very nice skin. When you receive the quest reward, you gain 7,500 experience and 1.5 platinum. Thank you for joining me in this video and this live recording of, this live commentary of me running through and soloing Oola's lab. I hope this has been very educational, and I wish you the best of luck in your chest drops. Goodbye.